So, the UK government has just announced a massive overhaul of Ofgem, our energy regulator. We're talking about the biggest shakeup in its entire 25-year history, and it's all designed to fix a system that, let's be honest, completely broke under pressure. So, let's dive in and figure out what this really means for you and for your bills.
I mean, we all remember it, right? That absolute shock of the recent energy crisis. Opening those bills, it just felt punishing. And it really laid bare just how vulnerable our whole energy system had become. The government's review is pretty clear. The chaos we all lived through was a massive wake-up call that things needed to change. And not just a little bit, but fundamentally.
And this number really hammers home the scale of the problem. 30. 30 UK energy suppliers went bust. That's not just a few companies having a bad year. That is a complete systemic failure. It left millions of us in limbo, and ultimately it cost every single one of us.
So, what's the fix? Well, the official review basically concluded that the watchdog itself, Ofgem, needed a complete reboot to stop this from ever happening again. So let's break down exactly what went wrong and how they're planning to fix it.
You know, the heart of the problem, according to this review, is that Ofgem was a regulator designed for a completely different time. It was basically stuck in the past, trying to manage a future it was just never built for.
And you can see it if you look at Ofgem's history. Its original purpose got really muddled over the years. See, it was created way back in 2000 with one crystal clear job: promote competition. But then, over the next 2 decades, its to-do list just kept getting longer and longer, from green energy schemes to enforcing the price cap. By the time the crisis hit, its original focus was just totally diluted.
And while that was happening, the world it was supposed to be regulating was changing dramatically. Back in 2000, the system was pretty simple, mostly fossil fuels, and the main goal was just to get suppliers to compete on price. Now, we're dealing with this incredibly complex decarbonizing system. We have net zero goals, electric vehicles, heat pumps, smart tech in our homes. The old rulebook just could not keep up. And this all led to a huge cultural problem inside the organization. The review gathered feedback from people all across the energy industry, and one theme kept coming up. Ofgem had become slow, bureaucratic, and frankly afraid to make big decisions. It was a culture that was actually stifling the kind of innovation we desperately need. Okay, so that's the diagnosis: a slow, outdated regulator. So, what's the cure? Well, the government has laid out a really detailed plan to transform Ofgem into a watchdog that's actually fit for the 21st century. And the core idea here is really important. It's not about creating more red tape. It's about making regulations smarter, more effective, focusing on actually getting results for all of us and for the country, not just ticking boxes on a form. Now, right at the heart of this new mission are 3 equal priorities. Protecting consumers, that's still number 1, but now it's officially balanced with the need to power net zero, transitioning the whole country to clean energy, and promoting economic growth. But hang on, that's the real challenge, right? How do you balance those? What happens when a huge green investment might push bills up in the short term? That is the tightrope Ofgem is now going to have to walk. And this next bit is a really big deal: the individual accountability mechanism. Now, that sounds a bit jargony, but what it means is simple. For the very first time, senior executives at energy companies can be held personally responsible if things go badly wrong. It's a huge shift from only being able to punish the company as a whole. A new mission is great, but let's be real, it's pretty toothless if you don't have the power to enforce it. And that's why this whole overhaul gives Ofgem a brand new toolkit of powers designed to give this watchdog some serious bite. And there are 4 big ones. Ofgem is going to be able to enforce consumer law directly, hold bosses personally accountable, hit companies with way tougher penalties, and even go after the parent companies if they're the ones pulling the strings. So this first one is a total game changer when it comes to speed. Before, if a company was ripping off its customers, Ofgem often had to take them to court, which, as you know, can take years. Now they can investigate and act directly. That means faster justice and, hopefully, faster compensation for you. And here's that individual accountability thing in action. It's no longer good enough to just fine the company, because that often just gets treated as a cost of doing business. Now, the senior managers, the people who actually made the bad decisions, can be personally sanctioned. That should really focus the mind. And this adds some real financial teeth. If a company is found guilty of a major screw-up, Ofgem will now have the power to force it to recover bonuses that were paid to its executives. The message here is crystal clear: you will not get rewarded for failure. Okay, so we've looked at the high-level plan and all the new powers, but let's get to the question that really matters. What does any of this actually mean for your day-to-day life and your relationship with your energy supplier?
Well, this table really breaks it down. Dealing with terrible service? You should expect faster resolutions and more automatic compensation. Worried about unfair charges? Ofgem can now step in directly. Fed up with bosses seemingly getting away with it? Now they can be held personally responsible. And crucially, stronger financial rules are meant to stop so many suppliers from collapsing in the first place.
So the bottom line for you is this. These reforms are meant to create a new safety net. It should mean quicker compensation when things go wrong, better protection from rogue traders as we all start getting new tech like heat pumps, and just more confidence that the people in charge are actually acting in our best interests. And the long-term prize? A regulator focused on getting our bills down for good by investing in clean energy. When you boil it all down, the fundamental change is this. Ofgem is being rebuilt to shift from being a reactive referee that just blows the whistle after the damage is done, to being a proactive protector that tries to stop the harm from happening in the first place. So yeah, the plan is ambitious, and the new powers, they look significant on paper. But the real question is still out there. Is this going to be enough? Will a regulator with the right mission and the right tools be able to navigate the massive challenges ahead? The hope is that this overhaul finally lets the UK build an energy system that isn't just clean, but is also fair and truly affordable for all of us. I guess only time will tell.